Hi everyone, and welcome to episode 20 of my vinyl and music collection. And we're going to have a little look at my pre-teenage years, which would have been pop music, 1970s. And we're going to start off with America's famous, most loved family probably around that time, and that would have been the Partridge family, featuring Shirley Jones and the boy idol himself, David Cassidy. And I've got to admit, I do like David Cassidy. I think he was brilliant. I think the Partridge family were brilliant as well. They didn't play their instruments on this album or any of the albums. They used session musicians. But David Cassidy was a brilliant guitar player, and Shirley Jones was a great keyboard player. David Cassidy was banned by his record company not to play guitar on TV or on pop shows, and he played a big Gibson 335 behind the scenes. He was a massive blues fan, and his documentary as well, which has been recently aired on TV, is worth watching. Anyway, the Partridge family, I won't go too deep into it. The first track in here is my most favourite Partridge family track, and it's called I'll Meet You Halfway, and I've actually covered that on YouTube. The other tracks aside one will be You're Always on My Mind, Doesn't Somebody Want Somebody, I'm Here, You're There, Umbrella Man, Late on the Line, Side 2, Morning Rider on the Road, That'll Be the Day, There's No Doubt in My Mind, She'd Rather Have the Rain, and the last track, I'll Leave Myself a Little Time. Partridge family, check them out on YouTube. There's some great songs in there, and if you just want a little bit of 1970s pop, can't think of a better place to check out than this band, Partridge family. One of my favourite bands of the early 70s as well was a band called Fox. Fantastic lead singer in a girl called Nusha Fox. Really, really unique vocal style. Very much avant-garde. Some brilliant songs. And I implore you to check out Fox. Some great songs on here. And it featured obviously Nusha Fox. So you'd have Bertie Armstrong, Pete Soley, Jim Frank, Jerry Taylor, Carey Young, and obviously you had Nusha, and she's this brilliant lead singer of Fox. Side 1 would consist of Love Letters, Imagine Me, Imagine You, which is a great song, The Juggler, Patent Tigers, Only Your Car, The More, Side 2, Spirit, He's Got Music, Pisces Babies, Love Skip, Red Letter Day. I don't put any of the YouTubes on here for copyright reasons, but you know, you can go and check these artists out on YouTube, and I definitely would check out Fox. They were about in the early 1970s. Brilliant vocals, fantastic pop songs, and they were quite big in the UK in the early 70s. This would have been released, I would say, about 1973. Great album, Fox. A band that came about in the UK as well. They were based up in the Midlands, and most of these bands were like cabaret bands playing in local clubs and things. And Paper Lace weren't any different. They were a nice tight band. They'd earned their stripes in the workmen's clubs and the social clubs. But one of the only bands around this time in the UK that got a USA #1 on the Billboard top 100. Quite amazing for these guys, you know. They weren't the biggest band in the UK, but they topped the American charts, and they had a couple of hits in America, and The Night Chicago Died, which was their #1. Billy Don't Be a Hero, both about American history basically. You've got Billy Don't Be a Hero was about the Civil War, and The Night Chicago Died was about the St. Valentine's Day massacre with the gangsters, with Al Capone. A great pop album of its time, released again in about 1974. Not a lot to it. There's a band in the front up there, and the tracks would be a track which us pre-teenagers loved during the early 70s, and that would have been Billy Don't Be a Hero. I Did What I Did for Maria, which was another hit of theirs. Jean, Mary in the Morning, Celia, Hitching a Ride, 74. Slide 2 was another hit for them, the Black Eyed Boys. Happy Birthday, Sweet 16. I think that might have been a Neil Sedaka song. Track 3, Love Songs. Dreams, a Ten a Penny. Track 5, Lover, You're a Long Time Coming. And the great track, which was obviously one of the biggest worldwide hits, was The Night Chicago Died. Great band, Paper Lace. Check out those 2 songs, Billy Don't Be a Hero and The Night Chicago Died. No early 70s pop would be the same without Slade. Now, Slade were a rock band, without doubt, a hard rock band, and became a metal band. This was the closest they'd come to basically a pop record, and this was their last #1. So they had 6 #1 singles, they had 3 #1 albums, and this album was #1 in 1974, and rightly so. An absolute brilliant album, and some great tracks in here. A nice gatefold sleeve. There's the boys in their full glory in 1974. Slade were huge in the 70s, especially the early 70s, between 71 and 75. Absolutely nothing to touch them. And we've got Jim Lee, Don Powell, Dave Hill, and the greatest vocalist I consider, and that's Noddy Holder. Tracks in here will be Just Want a Little Bit. It's quite a raucous song. When the Lights Are Out, that's a lovely song. That's a lovely pop song. My Town, another lovely song. Find Yourself a Rainbow. That's got quite a 1920s kind of twist to it. That one, I love that one. Miles Out to Sea, absolute great song. We're really going to raise a roof, so they kind of pick it up on the last track on side 1 on this one. Side 1, great. Side 2 gets even better. Do We Still Do It? Brilliant song. You know, unashamedly pop. And track 2, How Can It Be? I absolutely love that song. Absolutely love it. Don't Blame Me is track 3. Now, the famous thing about this song is it's the B-side to their greatest selling single, Merry Christmas Everybody. And seriously, Don't Blame Me is a great song. It deserved to be an A-side. One of their top singles, I think, was #3 in the charts, My Friend Stan. And that's a piano-led song, and that's a lovely song. Last but one track, I think, is one of the greatest ballads written, and that's called Every Day. And to you musicians out there, it's in 3/4 time, waltz time, and I absolutely love Every Day. Last track, Good Time Gals. Again, a nice upbeat pop song. #1 in 1974. Unashamedly one of my favourite bands, Slade. Next guy is Demis Roussos, and I first discovered him on Top of the Pops again about 1973. What a voice! He sang solo he was about 6'4", and for Americans about 270 pounds or 280 pounds and even more. In British weight, I suppose he was close to 20 stone. But he had a voice of an angel, very much a tenor. If he was an opera singer, he would be in the tenor range. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous singer with some wonderful, wonderful songs. And I remember him, and he's still big in my mind. And the album's called Forever and Ever. Just to tell you, that's called Old, New, Borrowed and Blue as well. So let's not forget the titles of the albums. Right. Not a lot to the 1970s albums. There weren't many gatefolds. But side one on this would be Forever and Ever, it's one of his biggest hits. My Friend the Wind, My Reason, Lay It Down, Lovely Sunny Days, Lost in the Dream, Velvet Mornings, Rebecca, When I Am a Kid, and Goodbye My Love, Goodbye. That's one of his big hits as well. A great, great album. Again, released, I would say 1974 circa. And check Demis Roussos out. He's a wonderful singer. You'll have a shock to hear his vocal style. It is absolutely brilliant. Love it. Dr. Hook. Massive, massive in the UK. American band, I think. I'm more than certain they're an American band, but they hit the charts back in the early 70s with us with some great songs, you know. And the tracks in here will be More Like the Movies, A Little Bit More, The Radio, Up on the Mountain, If Not You, Jungle to the Zoo, Bad Eyed Bill, What About You, I Need a High, and a couple more years. This is Dr. Hook with a brilliant band, and I would certainly say check them out. This album again is circa about 1972, and I absolutely loved them, and I think they're still being played now, especially their top songs, you know. Fantastic band, Dr. Hook. The 70s won't be complete without David Cassidy. As I said earlier, when he was with the Partridge family, it was the Partridge family that actually kind of pushed him towards his superstardom, and he became a solo act. Without doubt, a great singer, absolute brilliant singer, brilliant guitar player, and some of the songs he had written for him were absolutely amazing. Lovely gatefold, nice little write-up on each of the songs. It's got a little kind of frame inside there, just like framing his picture, and it's just a wonderful album. It's called Dreams Are Nothing More Than Wishes, and some of the tracks in here would be Daydream, which is great, Flowers, Miss, Hold On To Me, The Puppy Song. It's just a wonderful album, and I would definitely check out David Cassidy. He's what the girls listen to in the UK, but us lads, we had a little sneaky listen to him as well, and without doubt, we would rather David Cassidy than Donny Osmond, I think. But if you've got any comments on that, leave them below. He was a great guitar player, and he loved his blues as well. Back to another solo act, and he was a British singer, Gilbert Sullivan. This album's called Back to Front. Back in the early 70s, he was huge in the UK. He played behind a piano. He'd have a short haircut looking like something from the 1930s, and he'd have a flat hat on. And one of his biggest hits was a song called Claire. So the tracks in here would be an intro, I Hope You Stay, In My Hole. His most famous song is on here as well, and that's called Claire. That's Love, Can I Go Without You, But I'm Not, and then there's an outro. Side 2, I'm In Love With You, Who Was It, What Could Be Nicer, track 4, Out of the Question, track 5, The Golden Rule, and track 6, I'm Leaving, and then the outro. This album was released in 1972, and he had a good following. It wasn't just like the lads were into Slade, Sweet or whatever. The girls like Gilbert Sullivan, and the boys like Gilbert Sullivan, and I was a big fan of his as well. A great piano player, great singer, and a great songwriter. Another British band. This band were called Pilot, and they started making headway in about 1974, 1975. And I particularly liked these for one particular song, and the song was called January. It's a brilliant pop song. It's got a hook in it, it's got melodies in it, it's got great lyrics in it. It's just a fantastic song, and they were quite big for about 18 months, 2 years, Pilot were. And side 1 is You're My Number One, track 2, Love Is, Call Me Round, track 4, 55 North, 3 West, track 5, To You Alone, track 6, Do Me Good. Side 2, Heard It All Before, track 2, Bad To Me, You Are Devotion, and my favourite track is track 4 on side 2, and that's called January. It's please check it out. Just YouTube it or Spotify, whatever. It's a great pop song. Track 5, Passion Peace, and track 6, Dear Artist. And they were an absolute brilliant pop band. 1974, 1975. Absolutely loved them. And a nice bit of chill out, and just check out that song, January. When we were kids, we were into an American detective program called Starsky and Hutch, and little did we know that David Soul was an absolutely brilliant singer. I didn't know he was a singer. I just watched the program every week. And, well, you know, Starsky and Hutch was massive. And then all of a sudden we're watching Top of the Pops. And then he's doing songs like Silver Lady. It was just amazing. And so side 1 would be Silver Lady, which is a great song. Can We Just Sit Down and Talk It Over? Another great song. Tatler, I Wish I Was, Rider, last track, Going In With My Eyes Open. Side 2, Playing to an Audience of One. That's the name of the album, Playing to the Audience of One. Be the Devil, Nobody But a Fool for a Preacher, Mark's Fancy, and I suppose my favourite song would be a song called Don't Give Up On Us. It's an absolute brilliant pop song. And David Soul, one of the most loveliest soul singers, even though take it from his name as well, you know, David Soul. He had a great voice, and seriously worth checking out. Leo Sayer, we've done a couple of Leo Sayer albums, and we've been in the glam rock era with him, but he was unashamedly pop. And this is Leo Sayer's The Show Must Go On greatest hits. And he was again massive between about 1973 and 1978. And I think he's living in Australia now. But he's acting now. He wrote songs with Roger Daltrey from The Who, written some great songs. And the tracks in here will be, they're all massive for the UK fans. The Show Must Go On, Bells of St Mary's, Only Dreaming, track 4 Silverbird was the name of his first album. On the Old Dirt Road, my favourite song on here is undoubtedly, and please check it out, it's a song called Moonlighting. So it's a real melancholic song about boy and girl eloping and driving up to Gretna Green to get married. Side 2, Giving It All Away, oh, brilliant song. Bedsitter Land, Another Year, fantastic song. Track 4, Oh What a Life. Track 5, One Man Band, and that's a great song. It's probably the first Leo Sayer song I heard, and he was dressed up like a mannequin clown. Track 6, which is the last track, Why Is Everybody Going Home? UK is one of UK's greatest pop singers, Leo Sayer. For the more mature pre-teenager, and for the girls, is a guy called David Gates, and he led a band called Bread, and they were really melancholic, ballady, and they wrote and sang some great songs, and David Gates was basically the main writer and singer from it. And if you remember the band called Bread, they were amazing. This album's called Never Let Her Go, and that would be one of his big hits. And this was released in 1975. I think Bread were a little bit before that. And so side 1 will be Never Let Her Go, which is that great ballad. Angel, Playing on the Guitar, Watch Out, Part-Time Love, great song. Side 2, Chain Me, Light of My Life, Someday, Greener Days, and Strangers, and all songs written by David Gates. They weren't everybody's cup of tea, Red, and but you can't doubt David Gates' is fantastic vocal delivery, brilliant. We also had a French singer back in the UK. He'd come over, and he was probably more well known in the UK than he was in France. And that's Charles Aznavour, and we absolutely loved him. Mainly for the one song that he sang. It was called She. It's absolutely gorgeous songs. Probably one of the most loveliest ballads you'll ever come across. He became quite famous in the 70s, but he was about in the late 50s and the 60s, and he was all part of the Parisian jazz cafe scene, and he's just a lovely fella as well. And this album's called A Tapestry of Dreams. Great little gatefold. There's Charles Aznavour in the middle. There's him relaxing, but there. Check him out. He's an absolute wonderful singer. And the first track will be She, and it was actually written by Charles Aznavour. Second track, From Today. Our Love, My Love, again written by Charles Aznavour. La Baruca, written by Charles Aznavour. You've Got to Learn, written by Charles Aznavour. And then we've got We Can Never Know, The Love of You, I Live for You, After Loving You, and Yesterday When I Was Young. All these songs, bar I think it's just one, were written by Charles Aznavour. If I'm mistaken, he's actually written every song in this album. An immense writer, and when he sings in French, he kind of melts your heart. He's an absolute, I think they called him chanson singers in Paris. Brilliant. Charles Aznavour. David Soul again. I must have liked David Soul. I liked the show. And as I said, we spoke a bit earlier, but the tracks in here, this is just called David Soul. And again, this was released in 1976. And the tracks in here would be called The Wall, 1927 Kansas City. One of my favourite songs, track 3, is a Leonard Cohen song, and it's called Bird on a Wire. Listen to David Soul's version of it, brilliant. 4, Hooray for Hollywood. Landlord, last track, Seems to Miss You So Much. Side 2, One More Mountain to Climb. Ex-Lover, Topanga. Track 4, Black Bean Soup. Track 5, Christopher David. And this is just a wonderful album. It's on a gate sleeve. There's David Soul in the back. He's riding his horse. Handsome chap too, wasn't he? You know, that's without doubt. Absolute fantastic singer. Handsome chap. Great album. And I got 2 of them. My oh my, I got another David Cassidy album. Again, I must have liked this fella a lot, and I did like David Cassidy. And although I like my rock music, and I like my blues, and I like my jazz, I like my folk, and I like my metal, I still love a good singer, I still love a good songwriter, and David Cassidy was certainly one of those. And the tracks in here will be called Rock Me Baby. Now that's a great song. Great song. You need to check that one out. I think it's one of his best ones. Lonely Too Long, Two-Time Loser, Warm as Soul, Some Kind of Summer. It's a great song. Love that one. Oh No, No Way. Side 2, Song for a Rainy Day. Track 2, Soft as a Summer Shower. That's a great, lovely song. Track 3, Go Now. Track 4 and side 2, How Can I Be Sure? And track 5, Songs of Love. And this was released 1972, so this would have been 2 years after the Partridge Family. It's a lovely little album. It's a lovely picture of David Cassidy. He's just sat there in his armchair. And his record label would have been Bell. And I just love a little bit of David Cassidy. My oh my. The third David Cassidy, and that's the greatest hits. And this would include Cherish, great song. Doesn't Somebody Want to Be Wanted? Daydreamer, Please Please Me, which was a Lennon McCartney or Beatles song. Could It Be Forever? That's a great ballad. If I Didn't Care. Side 2, How Can I Be Sure? Track 2, I Think I Love You, which is a great one. Track 3, that great song, Rock Me Baby. Seriously, check that one out. It's a great song. Track 4, I Am a Clown. That's just a lovely ballad again. Love that one. And one of my favourite David Cassidy songs is I'll Meet You Halfway. And I've actually YouTubed that. I have a couple of years back, and people seem to like it. Partridge Family again, and this was their first album, and obviously I was a David Cassidy Partridge Family fan, and check out some of the series maybe on YouTube if you can get them on there. You know? Side 1, Brand New Me. Track 2, Point in the Direction of Albuquerque. Great song. Have a listen to that one. Bandala, Really Want to Know You. Only a Moment Ago. I Can Feel Your Heartbeat. That's another great ballad. I know these songs so well, and I'm just gonna recommend the Partridge Family. I'm on the Road. This is side 2. To Be Lovers. Track 3, Somebody Wants You. Track 4, I Think I Love You, which is great. And I've actually covered that one on YouTube as well. And singing my song. Partridge Family's first album, this was released in 1970. Nice little back, there's a nice little write-up, nice little black and white picture. It's like a signed shirt. I think Shirley Jones and David Cassidy, they always wanted to make sure that they were out front in this band because they were the musicians, even though the record companies wouldn't let them play, but I think they might have sneaked on some of the recordings. And I'm going to finish off with a band from the late 60s. And without this band, the Cowsills, you would not have had the Partridge Family. The Cowsills were basically the first family pop band. And they were absolutely an amazing family band. Again, very similar to what the Partridge Family, well, it was taken from the Cowsills, the Partridge Family, the mum leading the band, the dad was like the manager, and when you watch the documentary, it's quite sad of why they didn't allow the Cowsills to be the Partridge Family, because they took everything from the Cowsills to create the Partridge Family. They're great singers, they're all great musicians without doubt if you watch the documentary. The reason being, they weren't photogenic enough. They didn't come across on TV as, I don't know, pretty, cutie or whatever. They were just a normal American family. Not I know what a normal American family looks like. I'm from Swansea, South Wales in the UK. But I watched the documentary and it was absolutely wonderful. Quite sad at some points. Anyway, the Cowsills, and the tracks would be The Rain, The Park and Other Things. Great song. Pennies, La Rue des Soleil, Thinking About the Other Side, Dreams of Linda, which is a lovely song. River Blue, getting into that sunny feeling again. That's My Time of Day. Trouble Roses. Stop Looking, Is Anyone There? How Can I Make You See? Come Around Here, I'm the One You Need. And this would have been 1969 coming up to about 1970. As you can see, it looks very late 60s. Looking at them, and recommend to check out the Cowsills family. And there's the whole family. You can see the mum serving up, and if you look closely you can see the dad doing the dishes. And so without the Cowsills you would never have had the Partridge Family. Anyway, take care everyone, and I'll see you soon for episode 21. See you guys.
Always be the light things unused.